should have been retired years ago.
Well, he's retired now. Ratchet, however...
He just may be useful.
He's even more popular than you were back in your heroic youth. Come to think of it, he even reminds me of you.
I say he got lucky. His luck won't last forever.
Ratchet Deadlocked is the fourth game in the Ratchet Clank franchise, a series of platforming games that have always been as much about weaponry and gadgets as they have been about jumping and, platforming. You control Ratchet, an alien creature known as a Lombax, who's been captured by evil villain / television entrepreneur Gleeman Vox, operator of the Running-Man-style reality show called Dread Zone. Vox forces the universe's finest heroes to compete obstacle courses, combat thousands of enemies, and ultimately fight each other for the title of Dread Zone champion. As the title implies, Clank, Ratchet's former sidekick, is no longer part of the action. Clank hasn't been removed from the gameplay entirely, though, and you'll get to interact with him via radio, as he explains communications and gadgetry to you. Al, the nerdy technician, is also back, and he'll be the go-to guy when it comes to upgrading your combat bots, Ratchet's new sidekicks in the game. The combat bots, thanks to their extremely adept AI, will follow you everywhere and shoot at any threats along the way. You can also use them as decoys, or to capture nodes, hack into computers, toss EMPs at enemies, or a variety of different activities. Though the combat bots can die, they can be revived whenever and as many times as necessary. Although the weaponry is more limited than previous games in the series, you're down to 10 now, you'll be able to upgrade them in a number of different ways. As you use the weapons, they'll level up automatically, unlocking alpha mods, which help the guns shoot faster, increase ammo capacity, or a number of different things. Omega mods can be purchased in the weapons store, and they give the gun different attack properties, such as the Frost mod, which freezes enemies on contact, or the Morph mod, which turns enemies into exploding barnyard animals. You'll be able to continue to adapt and upgrade the weapons through multiple playthroughs of the game, unlocking more interesting and powerful mods only after your first time through. Although there are no vast improvements to the appearance, you'll be treated to smooth graphics, tons of visual effects, and highly exaggerated and animated movements and facial expressions of the game's humorous cast during the many cutscenes. The sound, too, is outstanding, as you'll get varied background music and explosive sound effects that correlate to the specific weapons that you'll be using. Since you're placed in the midst of a reality show, the game will also be narrated by the show's two announcers, the slimy Dallas and the seductive Juanita, whose in-game banter reveals exactly how they feel about Ratchet, Vox, and each other. The multiplayer mode is very well executed, and given that you have broadband and can find a full server, is well worth playing. You'll be able to play multiplayer offline up to 4 people and online up to 10 on the 11 maps that correspond to areas in the single-player game. Cooperative mode is surprisingly well put together. You'll be able to jump into any level with 2 players. Though the rules are similar to the single-player, you'll have to work together to complete most tasks. Unfortunately, the single-player campaign is a little short. You can beat it in well under the 10-hour mark, and although there are some cool unlockables the second time around, most of the best stuff is merely for aesthetic purposes. The gameplay simply doesn't change enough to make multiple playthroughs compelling. It's a shame that Clank's role was dimmed in this game, since he was always the highlight of the franchise, but thankfully he wasn't removed entirely, and you'll be able to interact with him plenty, even if his name is no longer in the title. The major competition for Ratchet Deadlocked is the previous Ratchet games, though it still may be the best platform game on the market, which is a shame considering how little platforming is actually done in it. The fact that it changes so little from year to year is a major downside. The gameplay is still excellent, and there are still minor tweaks that fine-tune the already impressive mechanics, but it feels like the same game year after year, and eventually even the most devoted to the franchise will begin to tire of it. Ratchet Deadlocked is a little on the short side, and too much like previous games, but all in all, it's an excellent game that combines humorous presentation, stylish weaponry, and a ton of different modes in one cohesive package. If you're a fan of weapon-centric gameplay with a charming platformer twist, this game will be a welcome addition to your collection.